Hey guys, want to bring you another YouTube video about this past weekend of Biden, Harris, and Trump update. So, and my thoughts. Obviously, if you saw the media Saturday, CNN, all the big ones, they pretty much at the same time announced that Biden would win, and then that same night, Biden and Harris kind of gave a speech. And then right after they announced it, which is really odd, with everything timing, when the news all broke that Biden won, and then you had Trump with the lawsuits and Rudy Giuliani presenting the lawsuits and everything. So I think it's still going to go on. If we're going, again, you're going to have that situation where I would congratulate Biden if he won fair and square, and then same thing for Trump. At this point, because I know all the networks that elected President Biden, so didn't say he officially, I think, won because of the lawsuit, the allegations. So the only thing is, I don't know if he has enough votes to make that difference and overcome. It's almost like a Hail Mary play at this point. And again, if you're a Democrat and you were watching on the other side, you would be like, well, how is it that at the time Trump was winning, it seems like, and then so a couple of things could have happened. Again, Democrats had, I would say, probably more mail-in ballots, which, okay, that definitely helps them. And then you have more Trumps in person. So depending on which state or how they count it is the other thing. I think, like I said, the way Florida handled it, they count it early. If they received it early and on time, and then have processed all the in-votes at the same day. So there was what they kind of call it a mirage, where if you're watching one state, you might be like, oh, wow, my candidate is up quite a bit. Okay, now the question would be, did they count the mail-in or in person first? Because your candidate could have been like, wow, he's up quite a bit, but they counted the in-person. So if they count in-person first, then you would assume that you're going to get more Trump supporters, and you would see that candidate up. Now, if, say, wow, my candidate's up, but they count more of the mail-in ballots, then you would be probably concerned because you knew that they were counting that first, so that means the in-person's probably going to start shifting. So that was the other thing. It's going to be interesting because most people would be like, again, that's where it was hard to decipher all the information because you don't know which came in first. Because if, say, you're a Trump supporter and, say, certain counties in Michigan or Wisconsin, they look like we're probably counting the in-person first. So that's why you would probably saw Trump was ahead in those states. Now, yes, it does take longer to count the mail-in ballots, and that's where it's kind of hard to differentiate between those two unless you have that. And so that's where I think the mess was probably. Again, it's probably, you could use the COVID. It was almost, you could say, for any, depending on which side, again, it's a perfect storm strategy on which way you go. I think if Trump also, from what you could gather from different media, and probably they would agree, would be because John McCain was such a big figure for some Republicans and the state of Arizona, then you're going to be like, well, I don't see why he didn't work with the McCains in Arizona in that sense. And I don't know if it's true. This is what I've heard, but he would not want to usually stay in Arizona. So that didn't help either if you knew you might need Arizona eventually. So Trump could have probably had some miscalculated thoughts there. I'm thinking that I should have enough electoral votes in that sense and at these different places. And I think Democrats probably miscalculated also that they're surprised how many people actually voted for Trump. And I think for the Biden speech this past Saturday, kind of try and force, I guess, or talked about unity. And then at the same time, you have Michelle Obama that says there's a group of half of the people that voted for Trump should be fixed or talked to or taken care of. So it's like AOC, I believe, also said something within that line too. You can find on their Instagram and their social media platform. So it's like you have Biden trying to talk about unity and bringing everyone together, but then yet at the same time within his camp, you have people like not wanting to hear about the other half that might have voted for Trump. So I don't see how you could bring unity if you're going to have a group that's divided too still. And then same thing, you're going Trump's, I mean, you had Mitt Romney that was not really supporting Trump either. So honestly, like I said, both parties are kind of split. Both parties have issues. So that's where it was very interesting to have the biggest turnout. But yet you have so much issues on both sides. Again, I would say if you want unity, you should really reach out and talk and figure out what's the difference. If you really think that, I could tell you there's different reasons why people would vote for Trump. And then I would say, from what I've talked to and heard from people that voted for Biden, there was only really, I would say, a small handful of reasons why. Like, I've heard for people voting for Biden, well, character's very important. And then also the handling of the coronavirus was very important to me. And I just don't like Trump. That's another reason. Or I just don't like how the Republicans chose Amy Barrett in the Supreme Court. So it's like, it's such a small handful, but then when you talk to the Republicans or even some independents I think are more split, so they could argue both sides. Republicans, from what I've talked to, why they voted for Trump, it was a wide range. So I can't say this is the definite answer or reason, but there was such a difference. That's why I would say if you're a Democrat and you really want to work together and bring the country together, and especially now you have Biden, if he does officially win after all these lawsuits and everything, then I would say you're going to have to talk and work with the other side and get to see the other point of view. So I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't see that possible right now, because the way both sides don't seem like they want to talk or have different views. Like I said, I would like to see that they work together. And air out what's the different reasons. Now, again, there's some interesting things about what happened with the election also, I thought. Again, there's videos of Pennsylvania where supposedly they stamped and postmarked it and then fill out ballots. So that there's videos of that too. You could find on YouTube on that. So there are things and outliers. It will be interesting. Like I said, I think most Americans should always want fair democracy and just make sure all votes are counted and they're legal, and that the process is taken seriously, because there's checks and balances in that sense. So at this point, it will be interesting to see Georgia's runoff in January and who's going to take control of the Senate. But overall, again, I don't mind calling whoever the president, whether it's Trump or if it was Biden. Again, I would prefer, as long as we know all votes were counted correctly in the right process, and that we're going to be okay with that outcome. Either way, I don't think anyone's going to be happy, because if you're in the Biden camp, you're happy and everything. I understand that, because just like in sports, you're going to be happy for whoever your team is. But you're going to have the other camp, that, or anyone that did not vote for Biden, saying that, well, I question if he really won fair and square based on the videos and the allegations that's out there. Especially now, people can't really trust the media because there's been Fox News and even CNN, MSNBC, they'll cut off if they don't think it's correct or disinformation. So then they'll kind of decide what they'll air. Then you're going to have to camp if Trump wins the lawsuit and somehow wins the race and stays president. Then you're going to have like the Democrats going to be like, see, he stole this. I can't believe he was able to get away with this. This is why we feared Amy Barrett in the conservative Supreme Court. This is what we have to deal with for the next 30 to 40 years. So that's where I feel like that's going to be hard to appease or be happy with any side at this point. Because, like I said, you're going to have, from talking to both sides, you're going to have two different camps. People aren't going to be happy. Again, like I said, really it comes down to three groups, I would say. Group one, you're going to be part of the Biden and Harris group, or you're going to be ecstatic the outcome so far, that, hey, it looks like we won, we've already taken, and we're starting to transition. And then group B, I would say, is like the Trump supporters, like we're continuing to fight this, we're going to try to win this with the Supreme Court or with the lawsuit. Then you got group 3, probably more like me at this point, where you want to get right, you want to get the right candidate in there that won fair and square, and then just want to be able to move on and hope that we get behind whoever the president is, and try to move on from there and learn. In that sense, that's what I think we're going. I know that's where, unless there's a group 4, let me know what you guys think, where you guys are at. Again, we just want to be united in that sense on figuring out and being able to work together, I would say. Whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, it's all about trying to make America better and great. And I think back in the days, you were definitely felt like you could air and talk to whatever beliefs, politics, views, and that's the other thing. I think that's another reason, like I said in one of those my other video, was that people are afraid to say that they were a Republican or a conservative because they feel like they're attacked or being censored. There's a YouTube channel called Conservative Twins. You can watch them. There's Ben Shapiro, Valuetainment. Those are the three I've seen that I would say are kind of bigger on the left in that sense I've seen, or more independent thinking too. I would say Valuetainment would be more independent or a little bit of different views. That's what I kind of like about that one. So again, I would say it will be interesting to see where things turn out. I think it will drag out at least 30 days. But we'll see where it's going to stand, where our country moves. But again, I appreciate all the support. Again, I look at the numbers and we'll see where we go from there. And if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe for more videos, and then press that thumb up button. And then again, I believe that together we could make things better, and that we're going to be able to, as long as we come together with an open mind and hear each other's point of view, lift each other up, push each other, like capitalism and competition. That's how you innovate. This is how you improve as a country. So again, go ahead, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.